Okay, Ramblers, let's get rambling.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
It's Some Dumb Guy, and welcome to episode number 45 of SumDumWatch, covering the week of August 4th through August 10th. That's today. As always, this is my weekly series celebrating the joys of physical media and the magnificence of the theatrical experience, where I cover what I've watched from my physical media library for the week and theatrical viewings I happen to attend. Let's get rolling. Well, I had to do it. I had stuff, I had things. I needed some background viewing, partial focus stuff, probably for some more editing. I said I probably wouldn't do it, but I did it anyway. Why? Because I already had it out still. I went into my Jurassic Park Trilogy Homemade Edition and played Jurassic Park 3 on 4K. First time viewing this film with my new Panasonic 4K player, and I gotta say, it looks like crap. You know, my Sony player had its issues and probably didn't do justice to a lot of discs I had. Sometimes that's actually a benefit, because what it did for Jurassic Park and the Lost World, mostly to its benefit, did just the opposite for Jurassic World 3, or Jurassic Park 3, excuse me. We don't do Jurassic World here at SumDumb channel. And this is probably, of all the times I've seen Jurassic Park 3, the time I liked it the least, and maybe how it looked had something to do with that, I don't know, but I think what little luster that film had for me is pretty much gone, I'm sorry to say. And this film suffers of the three the most from special effects upgrades on 4K. As great as Jurassic Park looked, the digital dinosaurs were more noticeable. In the Lost World, guess what? You had a little bit more so. Well, in Jurassic Park 3, it stuck out like a sore thumb. This is why there are some films from certain time periods I'm really hesitant or refuse to do the 4K upgrade. The Lord of the Rings trilogy is a prime example of that. I had the DVDs, and I had the Blu-rays, and then I got the remastered Blu-rays, and I could see this progression of more noticeable, standout computer effects, especially that remastered version. And I know the 4K will only make it worse. These are beautiful films. I don't want to further jeopardize, even with additional clarity and picture image and vibrancy. I don't want those computer effects to stand out and be less blended than they originally were. Sometimes I wish I could go back to my original DVDs, where digital effects, things like Treebeard and Gollum, blended nearly seamlessly with the actual real-life characters on screen. The more you enhance, the less that's a thing. So keep that in mind when you're considering upgrades, especially on heavily digital effects movies from like the late 90s, mid-90s, up until probably, I don't know, 2005 or so. It's a window where things are just, yeah. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. A few weeks back, somewhere in this little pile here, in this rope, I featured a movie called Sting, about an alien spider on the loose. And a trailer was presented before that film started for a film that came out last year that I'd never heard of before. Yep, 2024. I don't know if it ever got a theatrical release. One way or the other, I'd never heard of it before. But the trailer was intriguing, and I went and I bought it on the spot. It was pretty cheap. I think I featured it in an unboxing that you may not have seen yet. I don't know. But this was a Blu-ray called The Last Stop in Yuma County. The Last Stop in Yuma County is what I would call Tarantino light. So if you are a Tarantino fan, this one might be worth a gander. It's not quite as cleverly written. The dialogue isn't quite as quippy, but it's very much in the vein of Quentin Tarantino filmmaking. There are elements of Pulp Fiction in here. I'd say first and foremost, there's a little bit of Reservoir Dogs even, perhaps. Last Stop in Yuma County is a story of circumstance about a group of eclectic characters who are, for more or less, seemingly stranded at this Arizona desert diner. Basically because they can't get gas. There's a gas station right next door. The pumps are dry, and this gas station is waiting for a tanker to refill it. And these commuters, whether they be local or people on long road trips, are running low on fuel. So they stop off to get gas to find out they can't get gas, but there's a truck en route. Guess what? You can wait over here in this diner for the truck to arrive. So slowly, over the course of a morning, a group of characters amasses in here. And two of these characters have just fled from robbing a local bank. And a cat and mouse and hostage situation ensues. Things happen. We'll not go into details, we'll not spoil. Very interesting, very creative in a lot of ways, despite it being kind of a Tarantino clone. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Some things expected, some things not. A couple of Nice little twists and turns, and to an extent, definitely worth a viewing for those curious. And a second blind viewing for me this week. I went back in the Wayback Machine to the year 1948, if my failing eyes are not deceiving me. Going back to Frank Capra, people. Y'all know how I love my Frank Capra if you watch my channel with any regularity. This is a film starring Spencer Tracy, Katharine Hepburn, which this might be my first Spencer Tracy film and only my third Katharine Hepburn film. This was a fantastic movie, and interestingly, much a callback to Meet John Doe and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. It is State of the Union, and I have not done any homework on this, but if Katharine Hepburn didn't attain some kind of awards nomination or wins for her performance in this, I'd be very surprised. This film also co-stars, let's see if it tells me here, yes, a young Angela Lansbury, whom I'd never seen as a young woman before. Stellar supporting cast: Angela Lansbury, Van Johnson, and Adolphe Menjou, whom by name I don't recognize or what characters they played. But yeah, this is a very touching film. It's just over 2 hours. Some very powerful messaging that rings very much true on a political stage today. Some very dynamic character work. This particular Blu-ray is absolutely stunning to look at. The restoration on it is great. Some very clear images. The sound quality is spectacular. Once again, Frank Capra knocking it out of the park. I've yet to see a film of his I haven't loved, or at least really liked a lot. 9/8 time. I pulled out my Avengers 4 movie collection. This is, at this point, a hodgepodge, because I've got on this side Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron on Blu-ray, and on this side I've got Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame in 4K. Keep them in the same box for obvious reasons. As some going to sleep background filler, because I like to do that when I'm not completely exhausted. I like to put in a movie in bed and fall asleep to it. I went through and I watched both Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron. And I gotta say, as far as the first Avengers film, I still really enjoy that one. It's got a lot of great qualities to it. I think its probably biggest weakness is, which I didn't originally have an issue with it, but the Captain America suit. They just upgraded that so much more in later films. Look great. This one, you know, although you can save pot. I mean, this is not even more comic book accurate than the ones that came later, although the coloring is. That's probably my only real complaint about Avengers, other than the unexplained theme of sentimentality that is repeatedly peppered through the film, and why we don't ever know. I even went to the entire commentary from Josh Whedon one time, trying to hope that he would drop something to suggest or explain why, but he didn't. Avengers Age of Ultron, I overall like, but considerable downgrade from Avengers. TV time, I am nearing completion for Voyagers, complete series. 20 episodes from 1982. I've got 2 episodes left, so expect a finale for next week's episode for this. This show's grown on me quite a lot over the last 18 episodes. It's got a lot of heart. It's cheesy. I wouldn't quite call it campy, but it's not always lighthearted, although it tries to be. It's got a lot of heart, and it's very sincere, I think, in what it's trying to do and the messaging it's trying to offer, as well as its attempts to educate people on history. It's a shame it didn't go further. I had to pause for a second. I heard something. Apparently Buddy is snoring in bed. Okay, so last but not least, my sole theatrical viewing of the week. And there's going to be less of these now that one of my local theaters has closed down. And it was the theater I got to see the majority of my older films. Once a week they did what they call a flashback release, where they did for one show only an older film. The timing really stinks, because they had scheduled on their docket for this month still to come Hitchcock's Vertigo and Top Gun, neither of which I've seen in the theater. Vertigo, which I've never seen at all, but I was loving my discovery of first-time Hitchcock watches in the theater, and now I'm going to lose out on one. Yeah, unceremoniously, out of nowhere, shuttered up and gone. So, pretty sad about that. But I did go see on Thursday, and hopefully my review will be posted by the time this gets released. Weapons. It's a 2:17 show time on the Thursday. And it occurs to me my local theaters do not offer matinee pricing for Thursday preview days. I don't know why, but I don't like that, and I think it's kind of a bad idea. Why? I'm not getting anything, no benefit by seeing a movie a day before its release schedule. I'm only doing so because I happen to be off on Thursdays. I'm not off on Fridays when movies release, and I don't like going to movies in the theater Fridays because I have to go in the evening, and I don't like evening show times because they're crowded, especially opening day. So I go Thursdays, and now I pay extra for that, even though it's the middle of the day. I don't. Nope. Anyway, and that's that. What do you think of my choices, my viewing this week? What have you yourselves watched in the theater or from your home library? Let me know. Box, drop some stuff. We'd like to hear it. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and I will see you on my next video. Good night to all. Bye-bye.
Alan.